Hey there, my friend, welcome. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, founder here at the Fit Father Project and the Fit Mother Project. Today's video is all about the best exercises to strengthen low back at home. So it's estimated that up to 80% of people will experience low back pain in their lifetime. Pretty much everybody, because it's a fact of the matter that we have this spine that is the center point of this body, the axis of this body, and throughout life we accumulate damage to it, we sit a lot, maybe injuries have happened, slip discs, accidents, so many things happen that can lead to spine and back pain. So we wanted to create this video to give you our three-step process to kind of address low back pain, but more importantly to strengthen the back muscles. Now I gotta say this, before we get into the exercise I have specifically for you today, it's important that you really get a proper diagnosis on what's going on in your back, and that you don't necessarily do any of these things if you have acute back pain. So if you just hurt your back, if you have radiating pain down your leg, go to your doctor, get the proper imaging, get a proper diagnosis, because that's going to really inform the things that are right for you. That being said, these are some things that physical therapists do to approach low back pain, and some simple exercises and mobility things and stretches that you can do at home. So our three-step concept here is that when it comes to the spine, we first off want to add some mobility. So we're going to be doing some flexion, extension exercises with the back, a couple of these borrowed from some amazing yoga postures, because when it comes to the spine, we want to make sure we get blood flow and nutrition to the discs and the ligaments, and that requires mobilization. When we mobilize the spine, it actually gets the healing factors to get in there, and that's what's going to help the spine actually regenerate and get healthier over time. So we're going to start with mobility, then we're going to work on strengthening. So we're going to strengthen both the spine muscles, I guess you can say, and the back muscles in the low back directly, but we're also going to strengthen the glutes and the core, because when it comes to the spine, this axis of your body, we want all the accessory muscles around the spine to be very strong and stable too, because that enables everything to work in coordination. And oftentimes what happens is when we have low back pain, we have weakness in one of these muscles. That leads to overcompensation. Certain things are very tight, and that's going to be a problem. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 amazing exercises to strengthen the low back. I'm going to demonstrate in the gym in just a second behind me. And then finally, after we've done the mobilization and the strengthening, we're going to do some stretching. Because in low back pain, a large majority of the cases are actually due to tight muscles, in particular a muscle called the psoas, which is your main hip flexor. It actually attaches here in the low back and runs down and attaches to your femur, the main bone in your thigh. And when that muscle contracts and gets short, it brings your leg up. Well, the problem is when that muscle's tight, because we're constantly sitting and we're in this bent position because we're driving cars and working on desks, when that muscle gets tight, it pulls on the low back, create a lot of problems. So we're going to do a psoas stretch for that. We're also going to do a couple of yoga postures to release tension on the spine, like child's pose and pigeon pose, which actually stretches a muscle in your glutes called the piriformis. Your sciatic nerve runs directly through that piriformis glute muscle. So a lot of people who have back pain actually sometimes have something called piriformis syndrome. So we're going to address that. Everyone can use some more piriformis stretching. So that's our process. Mobilize, strengthen, stretch. Let's go to the gym right now. I'm going to demonstrate all of this for you. And this is a simple routine that, with your doctor's permission, and you check and make sure you're good for this and exercise, that this could be something that'd be helpful for you. So let's hop to the gym and demonstrate this entire routine. All right, so let's get into these exercises to strengthen the low back at home. Again, the first part of this routine is all about mobilizing the spine, adding movement and mobility. And what we're going to start with is a yoga flow called cat-cow. So 2 different motions that flow into each other. And the way we start this is we get on all fours just like this. Now the first thing, when we plant down just like this, hands and knees are about shoulder width apart. We want to take your elbows and shine them forward just like this. And now what we're going to do is, well, first we'll start with the cat, which is going to be an exhale, blowing the air out, rounding that spine, pushing through the hands. And then we're going to inhale. Head lifts up, low back arches. And you flow into the cat. And then into the cow. And I want you to do this at your own pace. The goal here is slow, controlled movements. And the breath is important. Again, on the cat, exhale. Inhale on the cow. And I'm really working on moving my shoulder blades, pushing, and basically creating this motion with the spine. Here to here to here to here. That adds that mobility. So I'd recommend you do this for about 1 minute. It's gonna get some good flexion extension into that spine. And then we're gonna move into something very similar, except we're gonna be on our backs. And this is going to be what I call vacuum glute bridge. So we're gonna get down, feet are just right here, hands are here. So the first motion we're gonna do is very similar to that cat-cow. We are going to contract the abs and the butt slightly lifts off the ground. So I'm almost rolling that pelvis up and under just like this. And then I'm gonna run the back up like this into an arch position. So you can see that at this point there's space for my hand underneath my low back. I'm gonna flatten. So we're basically taking that space underneath the low back, opening it up, closing it down, butt comes up. Opening it up, closing it down. So we're basically looking at that low back and we're pressing it into the floor and then we're rolling it up like this. This is creating a contraction of those low back muscles. This is contracting the abs that counteract those low back muscles in the glutes. We're gonna roll like this for about 10 to 15 reps. And again, much like the cat-cow, this is just adding mobility into that spine and getting us ready for our strengthening exercises. So, for the strength exercise, we're gonna hop up. We're gonna do our first exercise on our feet, and I'm gonna grab a little stick for this. It is a good morning. Now, this is an incredible strength exercise, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little broomstick, although you can just cross your hands as well, and we're gonna go like this, put it on the back, and we're gonna get around a shoulder width stance, just like this. And now from this motion, the back is contracted nice and strong. We're gonna shift the hips backwards, just like this, stretching those hammies, and we're gonna contract the glutes, come back up to starting position. So again, hip shift back. If you can put a wall behind you, I want you to try to touch that wall with your butt. Back is nice and tight the entire time. Come on up. So the reason that it's nice to have a broomstick or a little wood bar is because you can really pull down to really strengthen that back from the top and the bottom, and you're gonna feel that as you shift back, a lot of the emphasis goes onto those spinal erectors, those long muscles that run up and down your back, as well as your glutes and your hammies, and you fire right on up. Now, if you don't have a stick, then you'll do it just like this. Give yourself a cross-arm hug, still stick that butt out, shift it back, stay nice and tight, right on down, feel the stretch in your hamstrings, come on up, squeeze the glutes at the top, just like this. So I'd like you to do around let's say 15 reps of those good mornings. Over time, you can even put a bar and some weights involved in that exercise, but you can get progressively stronger at that. It's such an important exercise for your low back. Next one we're gonna do is called a bird dog. And this one requires a little more coordination of your abs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the same starting position that we were when we were doing the cat-cow, which is this quadruped position, hands and knees just like this. With the bird dog, what we're gonna do is we are going to take one hand and one leg and we're gonna stretch out just like this. And what we're doing here is we're contracting this glute, we're keeping the core tight, and we're contracting from the top here, the trap up top in the arm, and we're coming right back to starting position. Other side, stretch out long, maintain your balance. It's a core exercise. The reason this is a phenomenal exercise for your low back is your low back and your core and your glutes and your arm and your shoulder, everything needs to work together in sync to stabilize the spine. And that is the function of the core, to add stability to the spine. So I'm looking for about 5 to 10 good quality reps each side. If it takes you a couple minutes, that's fine. If starting out you can only do smaller ones while maintaining your balance, that's totally fine too. You'll find even this is very effective. Now what I want to make sure you do is you keep your hips and your pelvis level. What you don't want to do is open up your hips or allow them to drop like this. You want to keep yourself in a parallel plane to the floor. So hips stay level as I'm through here, So bird dog, 5 to 10 reps each side. Next exercise, we're gonna do an RKC plank. So there is a deep muscle in your abs called the transverse abdominis. It's kind of like the seat belt of your spine. It's a flat sheet muscle. It runs underneath your six-pack ab muscles that we all have. Even if we can't see them, they're there. So this sheet helps us draw the core in. So this is what planks work. And when we have a transverse abdominis muscle, it takes pressure off the low back, adds stability to the spine. So we're gonna improve that with the RKC plank. So how we do that is we drop down into a good classic plank position. So butt is up, drops into the pocket. Now a couple adjustments we're gonna do. We're gonna push away from the floor. So kind of like we're in the top of that cat position in cat-cow, we're creating roundness in the upper back, but we're drawing the glutes are squeezing, the belly button's drawing in and tightening, and we're squeezing the quads. So we're creating a lot of tension in the body, because the core, once we create tension in the extremities, in the arms, in the legs, in the glutes, the core has to work, and you see me shaking a little bit. This is what the RKC plank should do. If you're not shaking, you're not doing it quite right. So I want you to do a max hold. The second your low back starts to arch like this and you feel pain, you stop. And look, if you need to start your RKC plank like this, on your knees, just creating like this is a perfect place to start. This is more effective, even on my knees, than a regular plank is just like this. So it's fine however you do it, but I want you to squeeze your glutes and your quads and create that length and that draw that ab in. So RKC plank, I recommend 1 to 2 sets for as long as you can hold it. It may only be 15 seconds. Over time, you might work up to 30 seconds or 1 minute. Next exercise to strengthen around the low back is a glute bridge with a kick out. This is such an amazing exercise, something that every good physical therapist will tell you if you have low back pain is to get those glutes stronger. And so we're gonna work on that. So with the glute bridge, we're gonna get the hands on the ground, the shoulder blades come underneath. My feet are around a little wider than shoulder width. I'm gonna bridge up like this, squeezing the glutes, activating the abs. Now, one leg at a time, I'm gonna take the leg out, touch, out, touch, back down, bridge up, pause, out, touch, right on down, touch, fire on up, squeeze the glutes, out, touch, touch. Now, just like the bird dog, when I come into one foot, my hips want to drop like this. They don't want to stay up, so I have to intentionally use this glute to maintain this position here. So this is the key to this exercise, is when you bring that foot off, you're using your core and your glutes and your low back to maintain this level pelvis position. So down, bridge, one leg up, down, other leg up, down. So I recommend you do as many reps as you can do. Starting off, you might not be able to do that many. Over time, you'll be able to do more. And that's the key here with the strengthening portion. So again, to really recap, mobilization, we did the cat-cows. Then we did those mini vacuum bridges on our backs. Then we went to good mornings, which again was with that bar with this, that's really working that back. We did the bird dogs, the RKC planks, the glute bridges, and now we're gonna do some stretches. So we are gonna do, the first stretch is child's pose, which starts off in kind of this position here where your toes are touching, you're kind of wide through the legs here, whatever feels comfortable here, and you're gonna slowly work your hands out to a position just like this where your forehead comes to rest somewhere on the ground, and you're walking your fingers out until you feel a nice gentle pull on your low back. And you're gonna hold here for about 30 to 60 seconds, and you're gonna breathe and focus on relaxing, progressively relaxing, adding length to the spine and to your low back. And you can walk your fingers out even more and just find relaxation here. So you hold this stretch for around 60 seconds, and when you're done, you slowly walk yourself up. Our next posture is going to be a pigeon pose. So I mentioned in the introduction, there's a muscle that basically runs from your sacrum, this bone that you can feel down here, comes around the side and it attaches to the side of your femoral head. It's called the piriformis. It's this muscle that's kind of like a triangle-shaped muscle right here. It's so important. This muscle helps us actually open our legs like this, and it gets very tight. And when it gets tight, it actually puts pressure on our sciatic nerve. So we're gonna stretch that muscle with a pigeon pose. I'm gonna put one foot in front, just like this. I'm gonna take my other foot in back. I'm gonna come to this position right here, and I'm gonna sit and sink. So what this is doing is, I move from the side here, this is adding a stretch to this piriformis muscle. I can come down here, I can hang out just like this, and I'm gonna relax and sink deeper into this stretch. I want you to put your body wherever feels comfortable for you. Your position may not look just like mine, but I do want you to feel a stretch through this area right back here. As you get more advanced, you can actually move this front leg into more of a 90-degree position just like this, but it could be a little harder on your knee. So you can always slide it back right here as I had it initially, or you can move it farther out. Key is, even if you're up here, I want you to feel like you're stretching that piriformis. Hold both sides for around 60 seconds. And again, just right here, sit down. Make sure your pelvis is level, just like this, and you're relaxing into this stretch. Head may come down, you may come onto your elbows. Point being is I want you to relax into the stretch, hold it for around 60 seconds. Final stretch is on our feet. This is a psoas stretch. So that psoas, again, is this muscle that does this hip flexor. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch this left psoas first. So take a step forward, take a step back. This is creating length between these 2 points. So when we're stretching a muscle, we're basically asking ourselves, where does the muscle originate? Where does it insert? And how do we create the most length possible? So we're gonna be here, planting that foot. Wherever's back foot comfortable position, my heel is driving into the floor, and I'm creating length here. I'm opening the spine like this. I like to take my hand, put it behind my head, and rotate, because that is the maximum position that I can create to create length between here and here. And I'm gonna breathe, relax, and push this hip forward. Use my glute to slightly push my hip forward, creating as much length through here as possible. Again, I'm gonna hold this for around 60 seconds. Other side, foot down, back foot is planted on the heel. Extend spine long, it's creating more length here. Grab, rotate, shift up. This is creating maximum length through that psoas, and I'm relaxing into this for around 60 seconds. So, those are 3 amazing stretches that will absolutely help your low back feel better. One other thing I want to draw your attention to, if you consistently have low back pain, then check this out. This is an inversion table, one of these things that goes upside down and it adds traction to your spine. So as we get older, we get something called disc degeneration. So our spine is like Lego blocks. In between each spinal segment is like a disc, a jelly disc that adds some comfort. And as we get older, those discs dehydrate. They don't get as much blood flow. And so the beautiful thing about getting upside down for a few minutes per day on an inversion board is it opens up and it allows gravity to add traction and length to that spine, and it drives blood flow into those discs. So if I could give one piece of advice outside of this routine, it would be, if you consistently have low back pain and your doctor does not give you any contraindications, then getting an inversion board and spending a few minutes upside down every single day is one of the best things you can do. And if you don't have the money to buy an inversion board, then you can get a pull-up bar, something like this on a doorway, and even hanging just like this and allowing that low back to release is really good for adding more traction to that spine and length. It's going to help your discs. So that is how we do these exercises for the low back. I hope you found this valuable. If you like this stuff and you found this video awesome, give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button below. Let us know. Me and my team, we put a lot of heart and research and time into these videos, so we want to make sure they're valuable for you. So let us know in the comments below as well. And if you're not subscribed to our Fit Father Project or Fit Mother Project YouTube channels, subscription button is below. Hit that. We literally have hundreds of videos across our channels on how to make your body feel better and function. Particularly if you're a man or woman in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, we have free workouts, we have free meal plans, motivation guides, how to get your family, your spouse healthy too. We're the Fit Father Project and Fit Mother Project. This is what we do. So thanks for being here, my friend. I hope this video helps you. If you do this routine, comment below and let us know. And this will, over time, help your back feel better. So thanks for being here, my friend. I'll see you in future videos. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you very soon.